Have you ever wanted to hurl your grammar textbook out the window? Sometimes you can do that with Shakespeare, and I'm here to help you break the rules. I'm here to help you break the rules the right way. The majority of stage directions and grammar in Shakespearean texts is made up, so most of the best performers share a key to breaking the rules. Even the grammarians don't always agree. In fact, across 6 different Shakespeare editions, the opening line of Julius Caesar receives 5 different sets of punctuation. If we want what Shakespeare wrote, all 5 modern editions are wrong. Exclamation points were almost non-existent in Shakespeare's day. The First Folio is the most original, since Shakespeare's friends compiled it after he died, and is the only one that does not use an exclamation point. So why don't we just use the First Folio? Because more often than not, people tend to read Shakespeare silently today instead of performing it. And, especially for a written text, the First Folio breaks all the rules. Editors add punctuation because that makes it easier to read. The folio strips back many of the stage directions and acting clues that editors add for a reading audience as well. But actors can find that even simple things like entrances and exits don't always line up. So, with the least amount of editorial suggestion, the text closest to the original has the most acting possibilities. We'll get into the whys and hows of acting choices later on, but first, I'm going to ask you for your input by asking you to join me and the Servi Institute in the Julius Caesar Project. This project is for participants of all ages and breaks into 3 parts. You can do any number of these parts, but remember, it is meant to be a family-friendly event, so all projects will require approval by the Servi Institute before release. The first part is a call for written scholarship. We are looking for original essays, research papers, textual analysis, etc., relating to the play or anything pertaining to the play. This might include working directly with the text, with Shakespearean history, with Roman history, or comparing aspects of the play with recent events. The second part of the project is a call to imagination. We will be comprising an intellectual fair of all things related to Shakespeare's Julius Caesar. Fill tables, booths, poster boards, anything you can think of, with any work related to the text or the historical periods that surround the text. Ideas may include models of science discoveries made by the ancient Romans or Elizabethans, portfolios of pictures of art from those time periods, homemade art projects inspired by those periods, pictures of a family toga competition, costume boards for an imaginary production of the play, a cardboard reproduction of the globe, anything that you can think of. We want to see what you can do. The third part of the project is a staged reading of Shakespeare's Julius Caesar. Staged readings are full theatrical productions in which actors carry their scripts with them and need not memorize their lines. This particular staged reading will use theatrical practices of Shakespeare's time period and be guided by lots of textual delving by myself and the actors. After the show, the actors and I will answer your questions, we will tell you how to access the essays we've received, and you can browse any of the intellectual fare that you didn't get to see at intermission. Please email all project submissions to weserve@serviokc.org. Additional details on auditions, project deadlines, etc. will be coming. If you want to be involved in the production, I look forward to directing your acting, and most of our work will be guided by that magical key that lets us break the rules. Let's take a brief look at what that key is and how it works. We'll do that first line of Julius Caesar. For historical context, Shakespeare's company began their plays without any trumpets or lighting to indicate the start. They just started talking. So, this line may at first have sounded like the play was being canceled. It's also somewhat insulting because it reprimands its own audience for being idle. With the right theater setup, that's a great comedy bit. Rhetorical devices also help us consider the line. According to all of the punctuation we have seen, The word hence is set apart from the rest of the line, making "home you idle creatures get you home" its own phrase. The repetition of the word home at the beginning and ending of the phrase is called a panalepsis. You might be able to find that word if you can figure out where your grammar book landed. So Shakespeare's bookending his phrase with an idea of particular emphasis. He also uses antimetabole when he repeats the words home and you in inverted order. Home, you, home. Shakespeare gives us a word structure that highlights his focal points, and he does this frequently whenever he puts words at the end of a line of verse. That verse is the predominant part of the key and requires more explanation than I can give here. In a nutshell, some Shakespeareans adhere to the rule that if you can follow the natural rhythm of Shakespeare's verse, which here is iambic pentameter, then you should. An actor can follow that rhythm here if he uses a punctuation not found in any of the editions I have seen. Hence, home you idle creatures get you home. So, that last option doesn't quite follow the panalepsis pattern. It still gives the sound of that pattern because home is a word that receives emphasis both times. By following a regular rhythm, an actor can drive the line forward to the last word. Hence, home you idle creatures get you home. So, we can break all the punctuation rules and still validly perform the line. It supports what Shakespeare is doing with his rhythm and his words. Another bonus, this line is an opportunity to make the entire audience into characters in the play, but that's a topic for another day. In order to see the final performance decision and participate with me in some more historical and textual delving, you'll have to get involved with the Servi Institute's Julius Caesar Project.